What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Respect the Game podcast. My name is Edward, named after a trilogy, that being my pops. Shout out to my mother and my grandmother for helping raise me too. Please make sure you go follow at Emax Stats for all your up-to-date high school, pro, and collegiate sports coverage. We're not disappointed. We'll keep y'all up to date on all that is going on in the beautiful sports world. And as always, man, what is a podcast without your brethren?
Big brother Iron Man, Sign Hard Izzo tapping in, man. That's Twitter, Instagram, Sign Hard Surgical Pics coming to a wallet near you. Go.
Like,
Yo, it is the one and only Black Peace, the host with the most that blows the most smoke. Be sure to go check out Talkin Smoke on Apple Podcast, Spotify. Let's get it.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is I, the one and only Sedacious Miles. And on behalf of me and my brothers, I want to say thank you so much for supporting and rocking with us. Go follow me at I am Sedacious on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Take it away, bro.
yeah, man, getting to it. What is, I guess, currently everybody in the sports world, specifically on the basketball side, is waiting to see what will happen with the Ja Morant situation. Recently, over the weekend, apparently after the Denver game, they're still in Colorado. Ja Morant goes on IG Live. He's in some type of nightclub. In the process of, hanging out, chilling or whatever, he shows a gun on his IG Live. Now, the overall arching problem with that now currently that has allowed the NBA to start an investigation is that the NBA prohibits any gun possession on NBA facility property, or if a player has a gun possession, taking it on a team travel for team business, road trips, so on and so forth. Um, with Ja not being in Memphis and that taking place, maybe he has, the league has reason to believe, okay, he in Memphis, he could have went home after the game and then went out. That was the case. That was on the road trip. So within that, the NBA is trying to figure out where did this gun come from. Is it Ja Morant's? If it is Ja Morant's, did he take this gun with him on a road trip? If that comes out to be the case, automatic, no type of ruling or court or jury, whatever the case may be, automatic 50-game suspension. That is what everybody's waiting on to see how the tables to see how the dominoes will fall in Ja Morant's case with him flashing the gun on his IG live this past weekend in Denver, Colorado. They said that the Colorado authorities, the police, are also launching an investigation on Ja flashing a gun. Uh, Colorado open carry state, but it is considered a crime if you're using a gun and you're under the influence of alcohol. Couldn't really tell whether or not Ja was drunk. Who's going to figure that out? So that may not lead to anywhere. But again, the central focus is, did Ja Morant have possession of a gun while he was, on the road trip, on a work related trip with the Grizzlies. And again, if that turns out to be the case, there is a 50-game suspension that he must serve. What do y'all take away from this situation as it relates to Ja and his future of his career?
Ja Warrant, as I've been seeing him called on Twitter, but man, Shannon Sharp said something to this a couple weeks ago, man. You gotta stop, bro. Um, you headed into no man's land. You going backwards. You are definitely Ja Morant is probably the poster boy for hustling backwards right now. In regards to reaching a pinnacle that few people in life ever get to reach. You're in the less than 1% club as far as financial earnings and power and what you're able to do. And you soiling it, man. And you'd have been a repeat offender. There's been multiple, stories coming out with, you know, you showing up to a confrontation or you involved in a confrontation and somehow, some way, guns getting pulled, guns getting drawn. Um, Even back to a tweet he made earlier, I think a year or two ago, saying, Ja, why are you acting hood when you're rich? He was like, can't change been on that, still on that, forever on that, always gonna be. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, you're not a gangster. You're a basketball player, bro. Like, why are you carrying yourself like you're a rapper, like you got ops or something? Like, your ops are the Golden State Warriors, bro. Like, those are the shooters you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about real life
Literally.
shooters. Like, so the whole mantra of you know, even him getting a bread gang chain, like, and that's like a common thing, like rappers getting, you know,
Your city
jury,
sports superstar.
right, getting behind you, wanting to support you, but it's like they gave Ja bread gang chain. He think he Stacey, bro. He think he big 30. It's like, man, bro, it's cool to be you, dog. Like, I don't know who you got around you, but like, you know, definitely check your circle because they helping you hustle backwards right now. Is anybody telling you that you wrong? So
Before y'all jump in, so I wanted to also add a little bit of backstory. So we have this situation with Ja Morant flashing a gun on his IG Live this past weekend. That is a culmination of recent events that have started back in the summer that's led up to this moment. They may give people a sense of like where there's smoke, there may potentially also be fire, right? So July of this past summer, it was reported that Ja Morant's mother had got into it with an employee at a mall in Memphis. Her getting into it with that employee led to Ja Morant and company and his partners getting into it with mall security in the parking lot. Ja Morant mentioning statements in the police report saying he want to know what time the security guard get off work, you know, all that type of stuff. It was also said that somebody had pushed the security guard, but no arrests, no charges were made from that incident. So that's your first incident that happened this past summer. Not long after that incident, then another police report comes into play where a 17-year-old kid is playing basketball at Ja Morant's house. They had an exchange where the kid had reported in a police report that he seen Ja Morant go in his house, grab a gun. And this is after him and Ja Morant had an exchange on the court where the kid said Ja threw the kid the ball, you know, hard, and the kid thought maybe Ja was trying to punk him, so the kid threw the ball back at Ja equally as hard or whatever, and the ball slipped through Ja's hand and hit him in the face, and that's what then. Well, forgive me. Before Ja went to go get the gun, after the kid threw the ball and Ja couldn't grab it, and the ball hit Ja in the face, Ja then proceeded to square with the dude, hit him in the jaw, and and then one of Ja's friends ended up ganging up on the kid as well. And then after that, it is said the kid forgive me, Ja proceeded to go in the house, grab a gun. He didn't draw the gun on the kid or whatever the case may be, but that is what was in a police report. That was he say, she say from that incident. No arrests were made or anything like that. I believe before, I guess it went further. They said it was a sealed situation, so not too many people could get much of information after that. So that's the second incident. Then the third incident happened in January, where it said that Ja Morant, after a game against the Pacers, there was already some type, you know, one of the people, somebody from Ja's camp was chirping and talking trash to the Pacers bench. That guy ended up getting kicked out of the game after the game was over. Ja meets up with his crew. Him and his crew get in a car. They make their way towards where the Pacers team bus is, and somebody from the Pacers camp in the bus says that they seen a car, black Suburban pulling by, and the car flashed a laser towards the bus, which gave people reason to believe that what type of laser is this? Is this a beam on a gun? Nobody could. NBA launched an investigation, could never really truly come, you know, gather true evidence or substantial evidence to say whether or not the beam or the laser was attached to a gun or not. That swept, you know, I wouldn't say swept under the rug, but that proceeded to go nowhere, no charges, arrests, anything of the like in that regard. And then after that case, that's the third situation. Then the fourth case, here you have now Ja flashing a gun on his IG Live. So I just wanted to provide, you know, those sequence of events leading up to where we are now. Dacia's Black Peace. How do y'all feel about current situation at hand with those facts?
I mean, I feel like I got a whole monologue. So Dardell, you can go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna go a little bit left with my answer about it because it's something I think you kind of missed, but I don't think it kind of falls into place. There was a team meeting that same day, and then he went out to the club, which shows, like, to me, the leadership in that organization is poor. You know, of course, people have make their own decisions with their own personal lives, you know, outside the court. But you have a good leader inside that, you know, inside the locker room, it makes a big difference. You know, you can help keep your teammates out of trouble. You can help guide, you know, a little bit of guidance, this and that. Nobody on the Grizzlies roster that I know of it has seniority and experience and enough power to really just influence the other players. I say one of the OGs. I can't really think of any of the OGs to be
Well,
honest. I'm sorry, Steven Adams. Not
that's
mistaken.
who called the meeting that you were referring to,
And
Stephen
and
Adams.
and and for Steven Adams to be the leader, I feel is a little bit swayed because he is the foreign one in the box. He is the the odd man out. So I just feel like that team is in lead of
Not
some
even though.
serious. Yes
He's just
and
as
no. I
young.
mean,
He's just as young as everybody else, and that's the problem. They don't have a real vet in the locker room, and I think they were alluding to that. And I think that's
I
what you were
say
alluding to.
50-50.
Like they don't have a guy that's 30 plus in the locker room.
Yeah.
They don't have a
Age
30-year-old
and
on the
just
team.
that barrier too. Because he's been in positions where he's been on a championship team and know how to get there. But if nobody really just takes you serious enough and you can make that impact, it doesn't matter. You're gonna be in through one ear and out the other. We're gonna listen to Dylan Brooks, who just got suspended. We don't listen to that guy.
Yeah, so Stephen Adams is 29, Dylan Brooks is 27. If I could be wrong, I want to say he got traded. Danny Green, who's 35. I want to feel like Danny Green got traded recently.
The one guy who I
Um,
personally feel like would have gave them a little bit of more maturity is gone, and I wonder why. If he is gone,
right, yeah, Danny Green is gone. He got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So the oldest guy you got on that team, which is Stephen Adams, trying to be a veteran himself, he's 29 years old, and then Ja is 24. 23,
Yeah.
excuse me. Ja's 23.
So I might actually be a Ja Morant fan after all of this because I'm gonna tell you how it started. So when he was a rookie and he was starting off, this is before he knew he was it, right? He was had to prove himself. He got rookie of the year. You know what I mean? So he started flexing. Everybody started seeing who he was now. Then he got on. And so now he on and now he like kind of like the face of the Memphis Grizzlies, right? But this is what happens when you got like a young boy culture, right? Because you got this young guy now who you making the face of your franchise, and he plays good basketball for sure, but who he is for real is not ready to be a leader of a team, is not ready to be all the way in the position that he's in now. As far as accolades, as far as being the face, as far as being a likable guy, he checks all those boxes. But as far as personally, like mentally, like who he really is, like it's clear he's really a young little nigga, little gangster out here. Still has that. What's up?
Uh, finish. That's something I want to share, but finish. You was headed to what I want to add to, but keep going, keep rocking out.
So the reason I say that is because like all of this stuff has been happening, and it's like, Ja, you're gonna realize that you're the man and you have the sweetest spot. You have the spot that everybody wants to have, and all you got to do is fix your personal stuff. Or are you gonna be like everybody? Are you gonna be like others who had their time, had their spot, and they squandered it? You know what I'm saying? Because we all looking at you. We all love you. We all want you to be it because you look promising on the court. You're a likable guy. We like your dad. You know what I'm saying? But the way you got these Grizzlies moving, you got these Grizzly moving like y'all little thugs and y'all not really trying to play no ball for real. So what's it gonna be, gentlemen? And so that's how like now. So with him coming out with the statement of, I'm gonna go work on my mental health. You know what I'm saying? I've been tripping. It's like, okay, well, maybe there might be hope for John Morant, and he might actually be the one. He might actually do it and just be able to just course his career out with just being that dude for the entire time instead of us having to hear about you with anything other than basketball.
So,
Go ahead, bro.
oh, all right. So, John's statement after the situation: I take full responsibility for my actions last night. I'm sorry to my family, teammates, coaches, fans, partners, the city of Memphis, and the entire Grizzlies organization for letting you down. I'm going to take some time away to get help and work on learning better methods of dealing with stress and my overall well-being. And you talk about him talking about finding better ways to deal with his stress. That's mostly what stood out to me, just in terms of more money, more problems. John Morant just signed a 5-year, $192 million extension, like rookie extension. So it's just like, y'all done gave me the keys to the city. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that
Been in
also,
Memphis for a long time, bro. It go down in Memphis.
bro, you hear me? So I mean, you got the 5-year,
I got
100,
family in Memphis here, so
right? So yeah, so coming off of his rookie contract, gets the extension, 5 years, 190 plus million. Then on top of that, he got the Nike deal. Then he got the Pirate contract. So he probably feeling, you don't know what he's going through, but I feel like there's some validity to him trying to find better ways to just deal with whatever stress and pressures he
He's
has.
24, bro.
Bro, 23, you know what I'm
He's
saying?
20,
Like,
he's 23.
23, a father. Like, so yeah, so I want to play this clip from Gilbert Arenas, who has dealt with this probably at the highest of levels. So yeah, and I want to hear y'all thoughts about it.
When it comes to tiers, you were a one-tier player. You're supposed to be the future. And then this is just real reality, because no one's gonna tell you this. You are number one. You, Luka, Tatum, all that. They have now bumped you to tier 2, tier 3. No matter what you go out there and do, moving forward for at least the next 3 years, you're going to be behind those players because of the image. You're going to have to really sit back and like re-image yourself. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things where you want to be mindful, but you still have to be a little real. If you don't get voted in the All-Star game, those coaches are gonna look the other way. I mean, a lot of things are gonna happen no matter how good you play. So, it's one of these things where for the next 3 years, you're really gonna have to duck your head and just play basketball, still keep your same personality, and not get in trouble for you to get back to who you were 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago before any of this started. So, I just want to.
And here's the last.
I can tell you this, and this is going to sound like real brutal. Real brutal. The last step before crossing that finish line of image changing is he's going to have to cut his hair and become clean, look ungangsteristic, looking so far away from the music that they think he's mimicking, or Memphis. Yeah, so more Demetrius than Ja. Yeah, it's like putting on a gangster putting on a suit. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, they want you to, it's like when a gangster rapper goes on the court and he has a suit on, got the glasses to try to look, presentable, and that's what their definition of presentable is. Yeah. No, I mean, look, and that's just the harsh truth.
Yeah, man. So somebody, an experienced vet who been through what y'all been through, hearing his take, how do y'all feel about that? Do y'all feel like
Can we put
there's
his name on that? That's Agent
Nigga, who
Zero,
is
Gilbert
that? That's
Arenas.
exactly that's
Gilbert
all.
Arenas.
I thought I prefaced it.
Yeah, that was good. He did. He said that's
You
Gilbert
said
Arenas,
that?
someone that's went through this
I'm sorry.
before. I know I got kind of lost too myself, but it's good for sure. He definitely gave him a nice little intro.
Thank
And I
you.
was actually thinking about it earlier, like, we should bring that up and he hit that on the nail. But sorry,
I need those
continue.
breasts before I die. Y'all can have that.
Gilbert is saying a more exaggerated or probably a more real version than what I was alluding to. But I mean, Ja, he's at a pinnacle, right? He's at a crossroads, so to speak. I don't know if it gets as drastic as having to cut his hair. I don't know about that, but I do believe him for the next couple of years. You're gonna have to put your head down and just hoop, um, and see where the cards may. You just signed a big Powerade deal. You just obviously signed the 5-year, 192 extension. You just got your signature shoe with Nike. Hell of a time for you to want to be stupid and go, put a gun on IG Live. But hey, we're here now. Yeah, man. Image correction school 101 loading. So,
But with that being said, everybody know that's kind of part of his look, part of his image, the hair. So if he's smart, just don't need to do anything too dramatic. Call those endorsements, call those people up. Hey man, I'm about to make a move that's straight. Because the last thing he needs is lose out on more money and more the couple people that's still supporting him. But they still gonna have support. They still know he's young. They still know how influential music is. People know how this goes. For Christ's sakes, there are still people. Nothing against that situation, but there's a lot of public people that are fighting for the YSL case, knowing what's going on, and they're what I'm saying. Like people aren't gonna shame you all the way just because you believe in a gangster image. You know what I'm saying? They'll forget about it soon, especially right now. I think it's actually gonna blow over less than 3 years if honestly he just goes into like just quiet mode. Not even cut it, like you said, not even cut his hair, but just go into quiet mode. Just like you said, trying hard, keep your head down, play ball. Like I said, if he does decide to do anything dramatic, just man, call your agent, make sure it's straight. Because I feel like he can be a bit dramatic with his movements, and I feel like he may hear something, think that's the right move, and mess up a whole bunch of lanes that he already had going. So I just thought he had to calm down, talk to his agents more, talk to his business people a little bit more, and just make sure that he can save his career. Because right now it's definitely on the tightrope.
No, definitely, man. Hey, man, Josh Young. So, like I say, give him grace for being young and being human, and hopefully he could, make better decisions moving forward for the betterment of himself and his family. But yeah, man. No, still keeping it on the basketball court. I found something that I'll be paying attention to from afar with my wife is the trajectory of Bronny James. And so LeBron recently put out a tweet saying, man, Bronny definitely better than some of these cats I've been watching on League Pass today. Shit, lightweight, hilarious. And so, me personally, I feel like that tweet basically locked and loaded the target that is floated around Bronny for a while, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like that tweet definitely bullseye locked in on Bronny's chest as he gets ready to finish up high school and then go on to college and, therefore try to transcend to the NBA. And so with a tweet like that, that's his son. He's supposed to feel that way. So I'm not gonna follow LeBron for feeling that way at all about his son. But I've been paying attention to, who recruits Bronny, what certain news outlets say about Bronny. Because I feel like regardless of what Bronny may end up being a Hall of Fame basketball player in the NBA or, average player in the NBA, I don't think no media outlet specifically wants to be known or for having a reporter or whatever or a headline that says Bronny is going to be a bust before it's even actually seen, right? Because there's a certain level of like, we ain't gonna say this though. Like we want to possibly have a relationship, or we want to possibly be able to interview him one day, right?
Career suicide.
Exactly, right? To a degree, if you like, you know what I'm saying.
LeBron gonna cut that out to where You ain't gonna be none of that.
ever,
No more.
ever, right? And so,
Nigga
and
say no
so,
food, no water, no
no,
drink, please, no
no
nothing.
one to kick it with
Give
your
me
skate with your
give me
nothing,
my money,
Because
man.
of the
Give me
kingdom.
my money.
right? So my wife, she feels like, man, I just feel like they gonna hand it to Bronny. I don't feel like they gonna because of who his dad is, which nepotism is real. That could be the case. We don't know. For me, I'm just paying attention bit by bit, piece by piece, how this happens. And so when I heard LeBron say that, I immediately ran to the rankings to see did he move? Like, is anybody like bringing him up there because of what LeBron said? Now, maybe like a week or two ago, it was people had said that hey, Bronny is now moved into the mock draft as a potential top 10 draft pick for the year 2024. Basically saying, hey, he's starting to fill out in his body, and something that's really stood out is how he's really showed and improved on defense, how he's a really tough defender. And so people are kind of like putting him and saying he should be a lottery pick by the year 2024. So before LeBron made those comments by saying Bronny is definitely better than some of the cats in the league that he had been watching on League Pass. Right now, currently, ESPN Top 100 for the year 2023 rankings, Bronny is ranked 28. For Rivals, he is ranked 43. For 24/7 Sports, he is ranked 34. And again, I told you he's being projected to be a top 10 lottery pick for the year 2024 in the NBA. And on three recruits, who is probably somebody who they probably feel like you won't catch us nowhere saying anything bad about Bronny. Before LeBron's statements on three recruits, Bronny was ranked 27th. After LeBron made this statement, they pulled him up to ninth in their rankings. And they moved him from a 4-star recruit to a 5-star recruit. And I was just like, so y'all the ones. Y'all not gonna play no games. Bro, this way, bro. And so
Hey, bro, I think he's gonna be a first round pick.
And so I was reading articles about Bronny, and they were basically saying, I can't remember or recall if it was specifically from On Three, but the reasoning and him climbing up the ranks were to be said that Bronny's really progressing, and the kids who are ranked ahead of him to start off the year, they really just haven't progressed. And I was just like, so he's just gonna I've never heard that for anybody. Now I've heard of a player falling, and maybe like after a big time AAU tournament in the summer, or Nike camp, Adidas camp, or whatever the case may be, when you get to see a top player against everybody else, like they'll climb up the ranks that way. But rarely do I ever see like somebody just skyrocket through the rankings like midway through the season. When Bronny has dealt with a knee injury this season. And Bronny he was just recently named a McDonald's All-American. And his numbers for his senior year, he's averaging 13 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists, and almost 2 steals a game. He's 6'3" and only 180 pounds. And so for myself, I feel like a lot of evaluation around Bronny, like Bronny definitely can hoop for sure, 1,000%. But I feel like for most people, their evaluation of Bronny is like projecting. I feel like they're projecting that he's gonna fill out and be 6'8" like his daddy. They're projecting he's gonna catch a crazy growth spurt, and them genetics is gonna we're gonna look up one summer and Bronny's gonna be like, bro, how did you get 6'9" and 215? Like full of like, I feel like that's what people are projecting. And now, I mean, his daddy is LeBron James. Genetics are real, 1,000%. Because I want to say his brother Bryce may be like 6'8", 6'7", 6'6" already.
I think Bronny moved up to 6'4" in height as well.
Maybe 6'4". So yeah, so it's a lot of like I feel like it's revolved around mostly like projecting what he is, what they anticipating him to grow out to be. Um, and I think only time will tell as he gets ready to decide which college he wants to go to, and people kind of see like how he shakes out at college. Right now, he's I think the only offers he has on the table of schools he's looking at is USC, Memphis, and Ohio State. Me personally, I would love to see Bronny as a point guard to go to Memphis, head coach Penny Hardaway. If you look at what Kendrick Davis is doing there right now with Memphis as a point guard, I would love to see Bronny go there. I know one of his teammates from Sierra Canyon committed and went to USC. And then Ohio State. He probably just grew up an Ohio State fan. But I mean, do y'all have any thoughts or opinions about Bronny and whether or not there may be a level of nepotism like placed into his draft stock or his overall evaluation as a player?
Yes, I believe that heaven or hell, 50-50 shot, right or wrong answer, they stand on this side or stand on that side. Is Bronny gonna shape up to be what everybody is waiting on for real? Is for him to be the next LeBron James. Is that gonna happen? Which side are you standing on? I'm standing on the side of hell no, right? So I'm gonna just say that right now. It is not to disrespect his game. It's not to disrespect any of that, because I love seeing everything that everybody else loves seeing, the father and son thing, right? And yes, I think that he'll be a good NBA player. He has all the makings to be a good NBA player, but we want a next generational talent. I do not see that spirit in Bronny James. I'm sorry. You can't get me to, because we seen it in LeBron by now. So because I don't see it in Bronny, I'm not mad. I get what I'm getting. I appreciate what I get from Bronny James, getting to see LeBron James' two sons play basketball, and I just leave it at that. But I feel like other people are like, let me not say how I really feel because I don't want to be the one to get caught saying that I don't think he'll live up to his dad. But
I
it's like,
don't I don't know to a degree if people are scared to say that. I think it's more so of no kid besides LeBron James himself has been talked about this much throughout his high school tenure. So I think number one, you want to be careful of being too critical of an actual kid, a minor, somebody who can't even buy tobacco, can't, you know what I mean? It's like, I
A
think it's that angle
kid
of it.
or LeBron's kid?
But hold on, I'm
Uh,
getting to that angle though.
uh,
Because before you even get to the whole, okay, he's LeBron James' son, at the same time, as far as the Bronny hype train, like that started when he was like, what, 14,
hey,
13,
you.
14? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, let me not be the first one to tear down a kid and then be known as the news outlet that, man, y'all really would attack like a kid that way. Man, at least wait till he gets, at least to the collegiate ranks, right? Like, but for the LeBron angle, I think it's more so, hell yeah, some nepotism involved. I'm LeBron James. If my name can't at least boost my son at least a couple ranks, am I really LeBron James? Do I really have a pool that I say I have? So I think a portion of that is true as well, but I don't want to be disrespectful to Bronny, man. I think it's rare when you see a player, and I think, like you said, the important thing is they're scouting and scaling for potential of what you could grow into be, not of what he currently is. Because what he currently is at the high school level is, right, a great perimeter defender, a really good efficient shooter,
Athletic.
extremely athletic, is going to play within the confines of winning basketball. And at this age, and living in the highlight age, it's rare that you get a player who you kind of can see has that physical ability of, if he took more shots, he could be XYZ, but he plays within the confines of winning, of what his team needs to win. Could they win with him dropping 30 a game? Probably. Would it be as pretty? Would it be as cohesive? Would he still get those perks and pats on the back of his defense getting noticed, his passing getting noticed. Because what I see is they building an image of him slowly being a true complete player at that age, which is rare. Because a lot of kids that come straight out of high school on that AAU circuit, all they know is highlight basketball, i.e., probably your boy Mikey, who played with Bronny when he was like 10, 11 years old, right? You know what I'm saying? So I think about things like that. Does Mikey get talked about for his basketball IQ, his prowess of being a full, well-rounded player, or does he just get known for his highlight dunks and his athletic finishes? So it's like,
yeah. And he's been victimized because they're now saying with him dropping the way he did, he ain't playing nobody because he plays, I believe, like on different club teams that play high schools or however that works. But yeah, last note that I want to make about Bronny in terms of one, I place emphasis on like it's like one, your daddy is LeBron James, and it is in my belief that in the summertime you hooping against these players in the league. That is my belief. That should be like making you better. Whatever your daddy has access to make him great, you got that times 10 compared to what all the other high school athletes or have exposure to. So I think that plays into, you know, the projection of him potentially being great and also being a lottery pick in the year 2024. Also, too, Amari Bailey was his teammate when Barney had transferred to Sierra Canyon, who was a top recruit in his class and went on to UCLA. So it's little things like that that I think about. It's like, okay, well, you got to be going up against him every day, who's a shooting guard. Like, shouldn't that also be making you better? I remember Gilbert Arenas bringing that point up. So he has all the tools around him to live up to whatever height, to build out into whatever potential. And so day by day, season by season, it would be nice to see where he ends up committing. I would like to see him at the University of Memphis. And shoot, man, we can go from there, man. Keep your eyes out on Bernie, see how he climbs up in the ranks, see how he does at the McDonald's All-American, and all the other showcases coming up for top recruits this upcoming summer. Yeah, man, that's right. All right, so a quick brief pause on the sports. Diversity and inclusion. Governor Abbott says he wants the diversity, equity, and inclusion statements taken off of the hiring applications of, you know, faculty and staff, as well as taking it off the application and process for students. He says that this is, while this was originally, yes, created for the underprivileged community, us African Americans and the Hispanic Latino people, and those coming from overseas, so to speak. While this was intended to help them, it's now harming or being a disservice to other communities that wouldn't necessarily be deemed under the diversity, equity, and
AKA
the
white people ain't getting enough opportunities as they used to. We need the majority to be a little bit more.
We need to go back how it was.
We need to go back how it was. Make America great again. Air quotes, and right. I unquote them. I just, and I'm sorry. I know.
Should we be surprised? I mean, like
horse manure, man. Greg Abbott is a freaking utilitarian, tyrannical tyrant at this point. I don't know to be surprised. Texas is a red state. We've been known to have some right-wing fanatical things going on within, you know, the legislation. So, you know, it's just really poor and just kind of disgusting to see that type of aggression, especially with Roe v. Wade being overturned on a constitutional level, and then you have Texas implementing such divisive legislation like this. It makes you wonder, right? You know, biblical prophecy coming to fruition, man. We living in the last days. You know, They said the last days when the Son of Man before he comes. And we're getting into the Christian part of the program. It would be is in the days of Noah's, and as of the days of Noah, it was very archaic in the sense of a lot of lawlessness, and people just turning away from Yahweh. But hey, man, sadly, it's the world we living in. But am I surprised? No, no. It'll get worse before it get better, but it'll get better eventually, hopefully.
Perfectly. Y'all have anything else to add, fellas?
No, I'm not surprised at all. Hopefully, in some kind of way, this helps Black folk as well.
Say that again.
Hopefully, in some kind of way, this helps Black folk.
Yeah, man. Well, the looks of it, this is definitely not a step in that direction. But you know, we'll see.
All things shall work together for the good.
Because Lord forbid, the more inclusive we get on giving everybody opportunities, it's so funny how everything, if it's not for them, it's like against them, right? Because we're for inclusion, we're prejudiced against their vast opportunities that it's almost baffling at this point, because this is, I know it's where it's pressure from. Well, with all the opportunities that they have, we just don't have as many opportunities as we used to have.
Right.
Yeah.
We need that to change. Because if you want our money, if you want our support,
right. That's exactly what it is right there. That's exactly what it is right there. It's just like, where exactly is this pressure coming from for him to say
diversity ish out?
Yeah, diversity. All right.
Yeah, man. So just be aware of that, people. Just be aware that that's going on right now in the state of Texas and at the public universities out there.
We appreciate you living in Atlanta and caring about Texas, right?
Of course, Texas,
I know, right?
home of the players and pimps. I can never turn my heart away. So real quick, we're going to come back over to basketball. We're going to pay homage, give flowers to none other than Paul Gasol, who's getting his jersey retired tonight for the Lakers. He is the 13th Laker to be getting his jersey retired. Paul Gasol, I mean, he wrote the forward in Kobe Bryant's book, and he's also the godfather of one, if not more, of Kobe Bryant's daughters. And I mean, what intricate piece he was for Kobe Bryant to be able to propel to 2 championships. When Paul Gasol got there, they didn't make it that first year in the middle of the season of the trade, but the next 3 consecutive seasons, they made it to the finals, losing obviously 08-09 season to the Celtics, but then went on to beat the Orlando Magic in the finals and then redeem themselves against the Clippers, against the Celtics. Don't know how many people remember, but in that Game 7 victory over the Boston Celtics, Paul Gasol dropped 19 points and 18 rebounds and grabbed 18 rebounds. Talk about clutch in the Game 7 and needed that, especially in the game where Bean was struggling from the field. But nonetheless, man, Paul Gasol, 6-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA, 2001 Rookie of the Year, 2-time champion, 01 All-Rookie team, has over 20,000 points scored, 11 rebounds grabbed, almost 2,000 blocks, and almost 4,000 assists, average 17 points and 9 boards with 3 assists throughout his entire career. And like I said, those first 3 years with the Lakers, when they went those first 3 consecutive years going to the NBA Finals, Paul Gasol averaged 18 points and 10 rebounds, man. So probably don't get talked about or not seen as flashy considering the era that he retired in, but definitely up there in the ranks of like all-time international players. So yeah, man, had to put some respect on Paul Gasol's name. Obviously, if you Laker Nation, I know Paul Gasol gotta mean something to you. But no, man, yeah, triple salute to Paul Gasol. Triple salute to Paul Gasol getting his jersey retired for the Lakers, man.
I used to call Paul Gasol Jesus because he would always bail Kobe out of certain stuff. That's why we got Jesus.
Right. Jesus.
Mhm.
He never missed free throws. Um, he was he was that caliber of player that team needed him to be for them to win those 2 championships. And yeah, you can't. Yeah, certain people that you got to mention in the legacy of Kobe, and he's certainly one of them.
Yo, man. So over to the football field, man. There's no story bigger in the NFL currently. Excuse me. There's no story bigger in NFL right now than Lamar Jackson getting franchise tag by the Baltimore Ravens. And now you have two different franchise tags, right? You have the exclusive franchise tag, which pays, the average of the five highest players' salary in your position. Had he got regularly franchise tags, well, had he got the exclusive franchise tag, he would have made $40+ million in this one season. But Lamar got the non-exclusive franchise tag, which will only pay him $32 million. In addition to him getting that non-exclusive franchise tag and only being paid $32 million this year, Lamar has the opportunity to go shop himself around to other teams around the league to see, hey, can y'all give me a long-term deal that I'm looking for with the guaranteed money, so on and so forth. If Lamar finds that team that wants to give him a long-term deal, the Baltimore Ravens then have the option to possibly match that offer to keep Lamar. If they don't want to match that offer and say, Lamar, we'll let you go to whatever team you found your long-term deal from, in exchange for letting Lamar walk, the Baltimore Ravens would get 2 first-round draft picks. Not particularly sure in which year they have to fall in, but that is how they came about that rule in the collective bargaining agreement. So Lamar gets franchise tag at the non-exclusive franchise tags for $32 million, which means Daniel Jones will be making more than him. The Baltimore Ravens and Lamar have yet to come to an agreement on the long-term contract for Lamar Jackson. I know the answer to this, but just for the sake of the podcast and the wordplay, respect or don't respect this move by the Baltimore Ravens.
Bro, hold on before we answer. Did anybody notice that as soon as you said Lamar Jackson, Darnell was like, "Oh,
I didn't know if that was I didn't know
bro."
if that was on cue for
I'm like,
Lamar
"Wait a
or if
minute."
he just had something to do.
As soon as he was like, "All right, so Lamar Jackson." Yep, I'm gone.
Time to go. It's time to go.
So me personally, brother, you know, I feel like this is kind of what happens when respectively bet on yourself. Okay, so I respect it all, me personally, because it's all in the business of football. We were hoping that Lamar was starting to have a breakout year, like he was. Not a breakout year, but he was starting to have a really good year. And then, he got plagued by injury, and such is life, right? So now you put the franchise in the position to where it's like, okay, you didn't have that year to build that resume for us to just lie. So we do still want to continue with this relationship.
Man, they owe that man back pay for the MVP. But anyway,
It's a business, right?
yeah,
So it's just like,
yeah, I
hey,
know, and I
But
know
no,
from a
Dacius,
business
if you say
perspective.
real quick, is if you say you're respecting the business, that means you're in support of like the owners and the organization, because the business isn't. So you're not on Lamar's side.
say it again.
Bro, he know what he doing. You ain't gotta coach him and tell him what side he on. He making his bed clear as day.
I
But
can't
you,
hear y'all.
I
Y'all
know
hear
you
me?
can't because we speaking that real. Yeah, we can hear you. But I'm gonna go ahead and talk because he can't hear us right now. But um, man, I definitely they not respecting the game. But this is on par for who the Ravens are. If you scale it back and look back as far back as 25 years, I don't believe they've ever given a quarterback big money. That's not how they traditionally build their teams. They have built a model, so they believe. Ozzie Newsome was, by the way, is a great black GM, and not only just a black GM, but he's just a great GM, period, a great builder of football teams. And the way he's built that team over the last 25 or so years, he's done it through the draft primarily with the splash of free agency here and there. So, from a method of getting away from who they are, they stuck true to script and they did not deviate, even with a once in a lifetime type of athlete at the quarterback position in Lamar Jackson, who I believe
You can't respect
deserves to
that?
be played. No, I don't respect that because you just disrespected a man. Because I can see why you haven't played or paid quarterbacks in the past. Because if you look at their list of who they've had at quarterback, I wouldn't pay them $1.25 either, if you think about it. But Lamar Jackson is a bit different. He's a bit of an anomaly to what you've had previously. You got a guy who's won a unanimous MVP in the National Football League, a guy who's led the league in touchdown passes and led the league in rushing yards for quarterback, breaking the record. And you still treat him as though he's nothing. You treat him lesser than Daniel Jones, which is astonishing to me, and it's extremely disrespectful. So from that perspective, they not respecting the game because I don't care what history has told you and how you can build a team. I dare you to go try and find another Lamar Jackson in the draft. I know, but Anthony Richardson,
Stop.
yeah, right, yeah, he's so good. We never heard about him until 2 weeks ago. But anyway, it's just disrespectful, man. Lamar Jackson deserves to be paid as a top 5 quarterback. The last couple guys who won the MVP at the quarterback position, oddly enough, all have extensions and contracts, more money than Lamar. But anyway.
And we haven't even brought up Deshaun Watson, who doesn't have the accolades of most passing yards in the season. And there's our boy in the age. I know. And we haven't even brought him up yet, who has a guaranteed 230 million.
Prior to the extension, he did lead the league in passer rating and yards. So
right.
Do want to put that out there. Like D-Dub foe ain't no hoe, but
for sure,
no,
1,000%.
I get it. He don't have an MVP.
Yeah, which is the cream of the crop. Like that's
like the best you can do.
I meant it in that regard.
Individual award.
Individual, right? 1,000%. But yeah, 5 years, 230 million guaranteed, and on top of the baggage that came with him. And
how many podcasts? I'm sorry. I'm saying, how many podcasts have we spent arguing about Lamar Jackson to where now he deserves money?
I never said Lamar Jackson didn't deserve money, but when you got
Daniel, we have argued Lamar Jackson's eliteness back and forth on the podcast over the years, right? To now, it's like we're surprised that he's franchise tagged.
No, we're not.
I'm not surprised.
I say you're right. Yes, we have argued back and forth like tit for tat. Pro Lamar, not Lamar, whatever the case may be. But in the past, there's always been the looming unsettledness of, is he going to get his money? Now we're here today with the clear-cut decision being made to see, oh, they're not trying to give him his money, which brings us to, now what? What for Lamar?
No, bro. Because at the beginning of the season, so whose decision is it that Lamar decides to play before making a deal? Because from my understanding, that was Lamar Jackson's decision to be like, hey, I'm going to play this year out. And at the end of this year, whatever I ask for, I need to have it, right? That's what I was under the perception of. So it didn't go that way. So since it didn't go that way, what is the front office left to do now? Oh well, you know what? We know you. If you were not injured, you were gonna get us a Super Bowl. So let's pay you Super Bowl money right now. This is like no. The franchise tag is in place for this situation, particularly if you have a player that you love,
And the
you don't want
franchise
to let him
tag
go.
is for players like Daniel Jones and Kirk Cousins, not dudes like Lamar Jackson who you want to sure
No,
up for the next 5 years.
the
Dak
franchise.
Prescott.
No, the franchise tag. To what you just said, Isaac, is for players like your Daniel Joneses, but the franchise tag is also for business tactics.
Oh, absolutely.
You
But
know what I'm
I'm
saying?
just saying, business speaking, right? Hey man, business can ruin some relationships, and we all know the foundation of great business is derived from a great relationship. Um, Relationships are everything, man. Like Meek Mill said, hey man, relationships worth more than money. And
Nah,
right now, you soiling and asphyxiating on a relationship. So I call it.
yeah.
Hey man, we slowly getting to that. It's getting late early. We getting to that point of no return to where, bro, I ain't gonna lie, y'all really for real like disrespecting me. I don't want to play here no more. We getting to that level. We getting to that. Yeah, we there.
I think we there
Yes,
because
we there.
like what everybody has been saying in the reports is that Lamar wants more guaranteed money than Deshaun Watson. Lamar wants to reset the market. That's what everybody has been saying, and
They not gonna let him do that in Baltimore.
they not gonna let him do.
They just
do
don't
that.
do that.
They don't do
What,
that.
what,
So
okay, what team? What team? What team? What team?
time.
Give
All
me a
right.
team.
So
Give
time
me a
out.
team.
Time out real quick, Sedation. So you're asking for a team. The teams that are not currently pursuing Lamar is the Falcons, the Dolphins, the Panthers, the Commanders, and the Raiders. Those are 5 teams that it's been reported they're not looking to pursue Lamar any way, shape, form, or fashion. All right. So, and right to that, you're saying, give me a team, give me a team, give me a team, give me a team. My knee-jerk reaction to that is going to be, I don't know. But here's the thing where the franchise tag comes back into play. Credit to Fred Taylor who brought this up. And talking about the franchise tag also it's a business tactic for the owners and for the organization to use their cap space however they see fit. What is there to be said about the Baltimore Ravens not necessarily pulling this non-exclusive franchise tag, not putting that on Lamar because they don't want to pay him, but also knowing, hey, brother, remember, with the exclusive tag, he can go out there and shop himself away to see if he can find a long-term deal, and the Ravens get the opportunity to match that if they want to. But who's to say the Ravens ain't already had conversation with everybody else around the league to know Lamar ain't gonna go nowhere to find the money he wants? And so it's just like, well, if we know ain't nobody gonna cash you out for $235 guaranteed to let you reset the market and set the record, we ain't just to give you that money if we know it ain't a market out there for you to get that money. So it would be in our best business interest to be like, take this 32.
Yeah, because the 130 guarantee it's just disrespectful, man.
Because honestly, it's really giving him. It's really, to me, it's really giving him another chance. It's like, okay, we're gonna erase this injury year where we really couldn't get to see if we should pay you this money. We're gonna erase that.
Give me at least 200 guaranteed. Can I at least get 200?
Bro, 200? I can't be mad at 200, bro. Show me you love me. Don't show me you love me. Show me you respect me. Give me the 200 mil.
I respect you by understanding that you had a season that was plagued by injury and that I need to give you another season.
That isn't about respect. We all know and believe that, or at least I believe, they don't trust Lamar healthy.
Draft better receivers. Give me help. As opposed to me running around for my fucking life back here.
What?
Come on, man.
Yeah,
you sound worse than these folks in his office.
Yeah, man. So
Live a rapper.
So Marquise Brown wasn't good enough.
Man, Marquise Brown ain't Lamar.
All these other guys that they got wasn't good enough.
Talking about some, hell no. Why Brown ain't shit?
Bro, didn't he have like a good offensive line?
No, he had Man, he had a good year because of Lamar Jackson. Hollywood Brown ain't shit.
Ain't he
There
with
you
the
go.
Cardinals now?
You got Mark Andrews.
He ain't even top 20 in the league, brother.
Mark
He ain't
Andrews?
even top. I'm talking about Hollywood Brown. Mark Andrews is a top 5 tight end. But
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown, again, for the third time, respectfully,
And then
ain't shit.
the wide receiver they drafted in the first round, I can't think of his name currently. He was out with injury this season. But yeah, I think the Ravens don't believe in Lamar long term because they believe he's injury prone, and I believe for them the last thing they feel like themselves want to do is give him $300 million. I'm not saying that's what Lamar want. I'm just throwing that number out there. They give him $300 million. I'm not saying that's what he's negotiating for. Rather, last thing they would want is give him $300 million guaranteed, and he injured. You know what I'm saying? $300 million 5 years guaranteed, and for three for those 5 years, you not being able to play full season. You know what I'm saying? So, and it comes down to like that style of play that Lamar is being elusive out there, taking hits, so on and so forth. So,
bro, go get in one of these AFC Championship games with Patrick Mahomes next year on this franchise tag. You pay.
They still not gonna give it to him.
If you do anything less than that,
I don't believe they're gonna give it to him.
They not, bro, because Baltimore just traditionally don't pay quarterbacks. They build through the draft, man, and they think their ways
you gotta
have been.
see. If we was talking about Patrick Mahomes, Baltimore would have no choice.
Patrick Mahomes is like completely different level, completely different conversation.
Exactly, that's the market.
Completely
Patrick
different.
Mahomes is the market. You want to change the market?
But see, look, Patrick Mahomes, people look at Patrick Mahomes' figure of $500 million. So that $500 million is spread out not only over 10 years, it's spread out over. He doesn't even receive the first fullness of it until I think after this year. So I don't even think that contract kicks in until 2024. As far as the extension for Patrick Mahomes. So he structured a lot of that money to be received on the back end to give the team room to go out and sign free agents so they can still contend for championships. But Lamar done paid his dues. Baltimore, y'all wrong. Y'all cheat. Pay this nigga. You don't. If y'all, we'll go get the money somewhere else. Case closed. Yeah. But I think the Ravens sent out the whoop-de-whoop, sent out the okie doke and was like, hey, you know, we at the end of the day, us billionaires got to stick together. Y'all don't offer him, and we gonna force this fool to play under the non-exclusive franchise tag and all that money he thought he was gonna get. And I'm gonna tell you what, and this is my last thing, and I'm done talking about it. I think, and me personally, I think due to the scale and magnitude of the size of this deal, the fact that Lamar Jackson does not have a true agent that front offices are used to conversing with, because mind you, the top athletes share, you know, a couple handfuls of the same agents. So they're used to talking to, relatively speaking, the same people.
If not just under the same umbrella of agencies.
Of course. Lamar Jackson, however, is managed by his mother, a Black woman, a strong visionary of a Black woman who's had a clear-cut vision and path for her son for a long time. Bro, I think it's an angle to that story to where I don't know if they want his mom to be a part of receiving commission on that large of a deal, because agents are old, right? Like 10 to 15% of that contract. Could it be something along the lines of, we don't want to create that much generational wealth for a minority family? We're used to dealing with things a certain way, and maybe they aren't following the code of what's and how it's done. I just charge you to maybe think about it from that perspective.
I've thought about
some of that going on.
I've thought about that too, and I've thought at bare minimum, if she's just, out there figuring it out as she go since he came into the league, like, has she had some type of counsel? Even if nobody has tried to manage Lamar directly, has the mother been able to have some type of counsel for somebody more experienced than her to be like, hey, this is how you may want to try to handle this situation? Or is she just going for what she know, like I said, just figuring it out as she goes. So I've definitely thought about that. And that's also been a point. Like, is it because of the mom is in the inner workings? Could this deal have been done? And could Lamar have reset the market? Hey, he had an agent who's been more experienced. So that's something to think about too. To close, talking about Isaac's point of the Baltimore Ravens traditionally not paying their quarterback. So Joe Flacco, after being a Super Bowl MVP, was given a 6-year, $126 million contract. And of that 120 million, only 29 million was guaranteed. And that was as a that was as a Super Bowl MVP, coming off a Super Bowl MVP.
Wow. So in terms of what they usually do, they actually really respected this fool. Because that is actually, that's not even funny. That's like, bro, 6 years, 29 million. You just signed your soul away for, bro, that's not even 5 million.
6 year, 120 million.
I know, with only 29 guaranteed, and I guarantee he didn't hit incentives for those following years, bro. That contract was worth a little less than $4 million a year. They won.
Yeah.
They won on him, bro.
Yeah, man. So there's the history of the Baltimore Ravens and them paying quarterbacks. So this may not be a Lamar thing. This just may be a Baltimore Ravens thing.
Yeah, man. It was always that, but I'm just shocked that the Jets ain't throwing the book at them. New York, the market, young team.
I like Mike White, bro. I like Mike White. I know he ain't no Lamar. I know he's not no Lamar, but I know he's not Lamar. But I like. And the offense looked a whole lot better than who's the rookie quarterback? Zach Wilson, when Zach Wilson was back there.
Zach Wilson finna be
who drafted Mike White?
He finna be brushing up on his shit. They play football over there in China. He's finna be somewhere. That nigga finna be playing in a nigga finna be playing flag.
Nah, man. Beautiful people. That's what you call a great episode, man. Thank y'all kindly for taking y'all time out to listen to us or watch us on YouTube. Make sure you go follow us on all our social media platforms at Shine Hard, at I Am Sedacious, at Emax Stacks, at Black Period Peace. Yeah, man, and we're on any podcast streaming platform that you got on your phone. You can find us there. Love you, beautiful people. We will see you next week.